descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that, spitting slow, spitting fast. I could roast, I could gas, think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past. And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're with my time, you're delirious. Mysterious, because you are behind a big exterior. Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains that last, and to believe in what you got, it was built to last, yeah.
Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Gonna learn the consequence of being incompetent. Mental health is confidence, dreams into modestness. I'm not here to save the day, that's for you to take away. I could play a million mind games, but instead I say something not illogical, something that is topical. Rub it on and watch it go, make yourself unstoppable. Dreams are irresponsible, but they're always possible. If you just believe, you could be so remarkable.
Thoughts in my head, a collage and they spread. I'll be great one day, going off of my meds. No, I'm not giving up, no, I'm not giving in. I will make it to the top, taking off in the wind. I gotta make it, I'm saving every day to taste it. I'm patient, but my mind, it can hardly take it. I'm chasing a dream that I've had for several ages. A vacant, modern kingdom for the taking.
Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness.
Good luck, everybody. Just be careful to check out, especially if you're in the very far back.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that, spitting slow, spitting fast. I could roast, I could gas, think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past. And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're with my time, you're delirious. Mysterious, because you are behind a fake exterior. Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains that last, and to believe in what you got, it was built to last, yeah.
Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Gonna learn the consequence of being incompetent. Mental health is confidence, dreams into modestness. I'm not here to save the day, that's for you to take away. I could play a million mind games, but instead I say something not illogical, something that is topical. Rub it on and watch it go, make yourself unstoppable. Dreams are irresponsible, but they're always possible. If you just believe, you could be so remarkable.
Thoughts in my head, a collage and they spread. I'll be great one day, going off of my meds. No, I'm not giving up, no, I'm not giving in. I will make it to the top, taking off in the wind. I gotta make it, I'm saving every day to taste it. I'm patient, but my mind, it can hardly take it. I'm chasing a dream that I've had for several ages. A vacant, modern kingdom for the taking.
Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's
Good evening, race fans, and welcome to Red Line Racing Network as we get ready to kick off the Friday Night Lights Xfinity Series. This field loaded full of stars, rising stars, and some of the elites throughout the iRacing.com servers as we're already racked, stacked, ready to rock and roll. Lights out on that iRacing.com pace car as Adam Benefiel in the 83 machine is going to have the pole. Outside of him, it's going to be John Williams in the 05 ride. Be here through 100% of the way as all the thrills, the high-flying, high-octane racing action, and after all, the nighttime is the right time for these Xfinity Series stars in prime time as the field now rolls to the turns 3 and 4 complex here as we get ready to go green flag action Xfinity style right here on Red Line Racing Network. As always, Matt Metler up in the Tony Trapassa Memorial Broadcast booth. Want to thank all of you for joining us here this evening as we get ready to get rowdy here in the big house at Daytona. Pace car is going to lead them down to the green flag initial start of this race. We just got to kick that machine down pit road. There he goes, so we can go into the Geico restart zone. Benefield's going to have the trigger. Green flag now in the air. He's going to put the pedal through the floorboards, climb up the H pattern for the first time this evening, and those glorious V8s come roaring to life here at prime time. Green flag action now underway at Daytona. The field now coming up to speed for the first time this evening. That low lane quickly organized on the bottom shelf of the racetrack there, and you can see the momentum as they surge ahead here to an early lead. That outside lane hanging tough though as well. Oh, they're going to lose some soldiers on the high side. Quick shovel move down to the bottom of the 17 machine. And that's really going to disrupt the energy on that high side of the racetrack as it looks like the 83 of Benefiel is going to lead lap number 1 here. Again, this race is going to be an endurance one. 120 laps to scheduled distance tonight. You're going to have to survive to be alive at the end. You cannot win it on lap 1. And with these veterans out there tonight, I'm sure they're well aware of that, have a game plan, and they're going to execute it to perfection. As you can see, everyone being patient here right now at the start of this race. Line of Chevrolets here on the bottom side of the racetrack as they currently command in the early going. Ford going to now lead the outside lane as they try to get that cycled back to the high side of the racetrack. Remember, on the start, that outside lane just could not get going as they're rallying back now with some big-time pushing on the top shelf of the racetrack as Aaron Mack goes new fast lap of the race in that 31 machine. Good for a 47 flat. Ooh, a little bit of side draft in there, perhaps, or the one Dustin Hall got loose off of the corner. You see that car climb the banking just a little bit, perhaps a little too close to Matty Long there. Matty Long leads the outside lane into that Ford Mustang. One of the ones to watch, if you will, at least in my opinion. It's almost a John Force special. They're almost side by side at the line as the bottom lane hits the nitrous button right before the checkered flag there, or excuse me, the checkers at the stripe, and able to lead that lap once again. But the top side is vibing well right now as they're going to contend for the lead here for the first time this evening as we work lap 4. It's a John Force special down the backstretch, 2 by 2, side by side. That Team Conti sponsored machine currently out by just a fraction of an inch, coming off the corner of the top shelf of the racetrack. May get the momentum here as Matty Long is going to be strong and surge ahead. This Mustang is going to lead his first lap this evening. And a lot of times, folks, you just got to get the numbers right. You got to get a battle buddy. You got to have a good set of drivers working together, to make these lanes be successful, and we just didn't have that at the start of the race on the top side of the racetrack. Once they got the numbers there and they kind of got into this rhythm at Daytona, you can see now the competitiveness has really started to shift here to the high side of the racetrack. There's a moderate spacing there on the bottom lane right now, and again, that's more than likely just due to the early laps of this race. Definitely don't want to get yourself into a situation here early when you're pegged behind the 8 ball. To that point, though, the outside lane, that gap necessarily isn't there, or it's much less. You can see they're racked and stacked a lot closer together, and that translates to speed out there on the racetrack. Ooh, is that one gave a wicked push there to the 83, and I'm not sure that car was ready for it, and it almost went off big at the point. Again, close quarters action here in the early going. Want to thank everyone for joining us right here on Redline Racing Network as we kick off the Friday Night Light Series. And they also have a Cup Series next gen tomorrow night as well on McConey Racing Entertainment. Make sure you tune in tomorrow evening as well, as we have some excellent high-flying, high-octane coverage throughout the course of this weekend. All things Daytona, of course. Let's send it down trackside for the first time this evening. Let's jump on board with the 31 of Aaron Mack, as he currently runs in that 5th place position. Little over 8,000 RPM. Now you're going to see those RPMs continue to increase. And when he locks bumpers or makes contact with the business end of that race car in front of him, that's where you're going to see that extra surge of zest, a little extra momentum, speed out there on the racetrack. And this is going to be the big storyline of this race, that spring loading, that slinky, that exchange of energy, and who's going to get it timed right at the end. A big part of winning here at Daytona, we call this the great equalizer. And that's because if anyone puts a race car out there on the racetrack, you have just as good a chance as anyone else out there to come away with a big-time victory. And every one of these drivers knows it, and you can see the level of confidence out there right now, as once again the Daytona, the great equalizer, is you're on board with Mack, currently running in that 3rd place position, now up 5 spots from where he started. Now on the board with the GoPro front bumper cam. As you can see, he is just mere inches now off the back of that 28 of Matty Long. And close quarter is going to be the name of the game throughout the course of this race tonight, as Dustin Hall really gives a nice shot there to that Team Connie 83 sponsored machine. Your pole sitter has decided he's going to stay up at the front. He wants to be large and in charge, as no one has had a solution yet for Benefield here in the opening laps. Now 10 officially on the board. I mentioned this field full of some of the most talented drivers on the iRacing.com servers. I want to shout a couple of these guys out here. If you're new to the series, keep your eye on Alex Princeton in that 19 machine, currently in that 14th place position. Stacy Strong, Cup Series Cup regular, another guy that knows how to get the job done here at Daytona. He's someone you should pay attention to. He could very well be there at the end. Tanner Marty in the 29 ride, currently in that 18th place position, up 4 positions. Plate Racing ace, long time veteran on the iRacing.com side of things as well. Fierce competitor without question. Dave Holtzema currently a little bit further back in this field in that 79 ride, currently slots in that 21st place position. I mean, everywhere you look throughout this grid here this evening, this is, without question, an elite group of drivers all under one roof here at Daytona, and this should translate to some of the high octane electrified racing you could possibly catch here on any broadcast on YouTube or for any other media outlet, and for that matter. Oh, big time shuffle. It looks like that one machine's going to get almost stuck in the middle. He got lucky there. He got caught a big break. Usually you get trapped there in the sucker hole, and that's an elevator, a transport to the rear with the gear. Is that Camaro now going to come down to the bottom side of the racetrack? He's going to get another shot here from the 83, who basically led your first opening 11.5 laps of this race. Matt Long still commands that high side lane, top shelf of the racetrack. Ken Ron in that 84, up 3 positions on that scoring pylon from where he's rolled off this evening, just outside the top 10 in that 11th place position. Let's send it down trackside and jump on board with the 84. Out of Dillsburg, Pennsylvania. Oh, this is what you don't want to see. You don't want to see go 3 wide here. It is not okay to 3-way at Daytona most often, and that's where a lot of the mayhem is kicked off. These drivers doing a great job there, but certainly an intense moment there for Rod. You can see it cost him a little bit of speed out there on the racetrack, as he has now some moderate separation between himself and that Mustang in front of them. However, with the magic of the draft, he'll be able to catch right back up there. However, if you're near the rear with the gear, you sometimes don't have that help behind you. It could make or break you, as it almost becomes extremely challenging to regain contact with that lead pack. However, these Xfinity Series cars do seem to be able to hold it a little bit longer than the next gens. You know, with that recent update, it seems like 4 to 5 tenths of a second in the Cup car, and you're on the outside looking in, where the Xfinity car about 6 to 7 tenths of a second, and you still have a fighting chance of being able to go up there and snag the draft once again. Coming out of the turns complex, thundering down the backstretch, the Atlanta man, Matty Long. A lot of help there from Mack in the 31. 2 fierce competitors commanding the charge on the top shelf of the racetrack now. Your pole sitter, Adam Benefield, now falls back to that 3rd place position. Aaron Mack holding strong in 4th. Johnny Williams currently rounds out your top 5, while Jason Hale in the 08 machine is the biggest mover inside of the top 10 out of Maryland, up 6 positions from where he started. Where Lucas Hotsema in the 97 out of Illinois currently runs in that 8th place position. Joseph McWhorter, again, coming to the front early out of St. Robert, I believe that is Missouri. And Ken Rod, who we were just on board with moments ago, rounds out your top 10 as he currently run right now. If you're live in the YouTube.com live chat, sound off. Let us know who you're rooting for. We'll shout you out, and we'll get that driver some extended screen time here as well. Be a part of the conversation, a part of this broadcast here tonight, as we will be checking in periodically and interacting and engaging with you folks at home as well, just to try to add a little more depth and a little bit of a new flavor to these broadcasts when the opportunity does permit. Tell you what, a guy wasting no time making moves. Can keep your eye on that 01 machine there on the bottom, that Chevrolet. Great looking paint schemes out there. That Ghost Energy car, that has got some really vibrant colors on it as well. You could spot that No problem in that pack of cars right now. It's the paint schemes. Always top shelf here in the Friday Night Lights series. Ryan Sturt currently up 15 positions in that 22nd place position. And again, right now, a lot of these guys just riding, buying time, trying to trim fat off of that laps to go board. I expect to see a lot of patience, discipline out there on the racetrack right now. And again, these drivers, these teams know they've all sat down. They have a game plan. They know how they want to attack this race. Some by design. You know, if you go back to the rear with the gear here or further back in this field, 42 drivers still out there on the racetrack. You look at drivers like Kirk Mills, who started up near the front, now back 29 positions. Perhaps that's a part of the game plan. Stay in the rear, stay out of the big one, have a chance to react to it. Could be a similar story for drivers like Bryson Hoxenbach. This guy's a wheelman who has speed just about anywhere he goes. Way back here in the woods in that 35th place position. Tanner Marty coming to the back as well, as he's now hemorrhaged 10 positions out of that 32nd place position. You're going to see, I can guarantee you for certain, some of these names will not be back here when we're 10 or perhaps 5 laps to go as they start to make their charge towards the front. 2x2, side-by-side Noah's Ark situation for about the first top 22 cars. And then from about Mark Paget on back, well, it was single file moments ago, and things quickly evolve and change as that almost got turned into a hot dumpster fire. Oh, boy. Telling you, ladies and gentlemen, when you get a car on the high side of the racetrack, top shelf, you just don't have the real estate to work with like you do at Talladega. You just don't have the width of the racetrack, and there's only so much room out there. And when you squeeze a car without any draft help, there's a big time mile per hour difference, and things get skinny really quick. And there's almost some moderate contact there moments ago. And as we've seen over the course of this week, 3 wide has been a big-time catalyst of the bigger incidences being uncorked here at Daytona. Starting to get a third lane going up now towards the front of this piece. I believe that's going to be the 73 of McWhorter up there on the top shelf of the racetrack. 2 Camaros. 84's trying to get there, however, I'm not sure he's going to be able to. However, these cars, you can side draft pretty good in these things. He is trying to get there to help that car ripping the top of the fishbowl, that being the 73 of McWhorter. Let's send it down trackside, jump on board with him. You know, and if that's not enough for you, if that's not close enough, let's have some fun here. Keep in mind, that white line on the outside of that race car, that's the safer barrier. That's the fence. And you have a mere inches between himself, the 31 of Mack, as we're 3 wide at the front. You would think it was lap 113, not lap 23. Is it's a 3-way side-by-side drag race, and Matty Long's going to get the help doing all the pushing. Dustin Hall is going to surge that forward ahead. Things are starting really to heat up all around the racetrack. Car got in the fence. There's a little bit of self-inflicted concrete poisoning for that Camaro, and he is going to lose touch momentarily here with the 2 cars. upstairs on the racetrack. It's still 3 wide. The 31 thought about making a lane change and thought better of it. McAttack is in the middle. Typically a place drivers avoid. They're trying to use it to their advantage. Big time push there from the 08 of Jason Hale. You know, all it takes is someone just to breathe wrong, throw some dirty air on a car, make it flinch just a little more. I have no idea how he had room to throw that car down in line. Oh, there it goes. 2-3 cars now going to get yeeted. One of the Connie machines is going to go up there and, oh my God. We have car parts raining into the grandstands, continuing to bounce on the apron. Michael D-Tech involved, Kyle Ammon. In the words of Phil Collins, I could feel that coming in the air tonight. The fuse got lit and the bomb went off for the first time this evening, as we're now under caution for incident on the racetrack, as this is going to slow things down to a snail's pace. Let's go ahead and send it back to the instant replay. Ooh, and already here at this angle, things are, well, that's not how it should be out there on the racetrack. That 73 has been yeeted. He is coming off of the racing surface like a javelin on a collision course with that Team Connie machine. Let's go ahead and just back this up a little bit further. Stop it there, and now let's roll playback. This is just after the start-finish line. And this is going to pop off in front of him there. You see the contact. The 47 is going to get into the... Oh, they're going to three stooge each other there. Is 3 cars are going to make moderate contact and just get set in every which direction but straight. Oh, look at the shot that Toyota Supra took. I mean, the back end of that race car just did a full-blown keg stand. As he now tries to gather it up. And then he just run out of an escape routes there. The 17 comes up and poke checks the 00, which is going to turn him sideways. But I'll tell you what, these drivers had some great situational awareness here, as that should have been a lot bigger than it was. However, for some of these drivers, not the way they wanted to start the first leg of this race. Is no fast repairs in the back pocket. If you break it, you have to fix it on pit road. The silver lining may be, though, we still have a long way to go in this one. Let's take one more look at this here while we are under caution. Let's send it up to the eye in the sky. Let's jump on board to the chopper. Oh, he comes back up the racetrack. He was trying to keep it down there. The car just carried the momentum. Oh, that one probably thought he was going to make it through. He gets some contact there last minute. And then the 10, or the 00, excuse me, is going to come back up the racetrack. And then come back down. The 25 is playing Frogger out there on the racetrack. Similar story there for a few other cars in the 18. Code Brown moment there is you see him lock the tires up and the smoke billowing out of that race car as we now transition back to the live side of things here at Daytona International Speedway. The Ford man with the plan right now, Matty Long, currently carries the torch and shows the way here under caution for the first time this evening. We're going to step aside, pay some bills, but we'll be right back with coverage from Daytona right here on Redline Racing Network. Stick around, don't go anywhere.
Here at TWRS, we're always here to help our squad when they need a little push in the right direction. That's just who we are. We're a beautifully diverse group of goofballs dedicated to driving fake race cars as fast as possible. And we continue to push each other to the front using the power of nonsense. We have one of the strongest NASCAR programs on the service, and you can access it all for $24.99 a month. And we just released individual subscriptions for $14.99 a month for each NASCAR vehicle. We also just added a rallycross program, and our IndyCar program is taking off as well. So come join the weird side. We have speed and cookies. Cookies are not included in some locations.
Race fans, good evening and welcome back to Daytona International Speedway. So we're currently back under caution here once again in the early going. And I do apologize for that extended commercial break there. Just sometimes these buttons don't do what they're supposed to do, and GTR Simulator was really trying to get all of their commercial plays in kicked out of the way as it was stuck on an endless loop, and I do apologize for that, but team were able and I to get that sorted, and back here we are under caution once again as we were lean, mean, and green for the first handful of opening laps. Then we seen the first incident pop off, and then yet again, well, we were taking a break here on the broadcast side of things as multiple cars going to come down pit road. McWhorter's still going to lead the way here, up 17 positions. Tanner Marty in the 29 coming down pit road here. One of the drivers I mentioned here at the top of the broadcast. And wholesale pit stops for virtually everyone else out there on the racetrack. Matty Long, who was at the point not that long ago. Oh my goodness, that race car does not look good. He's got a ton of tow. Something tells me we missed something pretty big. The back of that Mustang is all torn up. Good Lord, what happened out there on the racetrack? Jason Hale on pit road, Curtis Miller, Schofield as well, Jonathan Delaney, Jeremy Clapper in the 24 machine, Ryan Stuck, Aaron Mack as well. All still down there on pit road as it becomes the hottest place in the building. We send it now back trackside. So this field begins to re-rack, restack. Lights go out on that iRacing.com pace car. As we sift through the replay footage, going to take a quick peek at this here as this happened while we were away under break. In fact, guys, that is the previous replay, so we'll come back to that. We'll try to get that sorted. We now go back to green flag action here out on the racetrack. Into the Geico restart zone we go once again. Green flag back in the air in the 73. Gets a restart, typically like when you'd want in a mile and a half. However, that could be by design to let another Chevrolet in, and that seems to be the case. As it's now McWhorter, Ryan Jones, Collins. There on the bottom. And much like the initial start, the top lane just does not have any help up there. They are far few and in between. However, this time's a little bit different given the circumstances of what just happened out there on the racetrack. It's the 11 of Jones now going to join forces with McWhorter. I'm curious about drivers coming from the back to the front, comers and goers. Well, your leader up 17 positions, the driver in P2 in the 11, 13 to the good, and Roy Collins, 26 positions, holding on to that third and final podium place position. If you now work lap 35 of the scheduled 120. Typically, when you see a couple incidences out there on the racetrack, that really tends to dial down the adrenaline, the more aggressive racing out there on the racetrack, especially coming off of an incident like that. You can kind of see that reflect what we're seeing here, at least at the front of this thing, is we're now single file from your leader all the way back. I think there's Benefield there in 7th, all the way back to Miller. And in fact, that single file continues to grow now, as you have to jump all the way back there to that around that 15th place position of Hotsema. And you start to see our first 2x2 action out here on the racetrack, and that's back around that 13th, 14th place position. A lot of shuffling going on back here around that 15th through 20th place position. And then you have some cars, unfortunately, that have lost touch with that lead pack, including drivers like Cody Bird, Zach Fuller in that 22nd place position, Matty Long, who still has some moderate damage on that car, and that seems to be a similar similar story for Noel as well, as their work just got a lot tougher here. Come out victorious at Daytona, as Ryan Jones leads the charge now, coming off the turns numbered 1 and 2 complex as they thunder down the super stretch.
What?
97 now is going to take that momentum, turn it down to the bottom. He's sending it in there like grandma's business after church on Sunday. Now he just needs a little bit of help, and he's got it now. Going to put a big-time challenge on the top side of the racetrack. Not enough at the line, but that bottom lane is generating some boogie. In fact, the 14's got some serious boogie under that hoodie right now. He's a stellar pusher, pleading his case. Perhaps audition to work with some of these drivers later on in the going. You want to get to the front quick, fast, in a hurry. You got someone behind you that can do all the heavy lifting. In the words of TRD, let's go places. They'll get you to the front. That's what you need. Here at Daytona is that 97 Irwin machine. Throwback to the early Kurt Busch days. Look at the move. Took it from the bottom, dialed it up, threw it up to the top. That's how you change lanes. That's nicely done. Did not check up any of the lines. Not that you can do it back like that every time, but look at how methodical. It's a lot harder than it looks. And he is doing it and doing it well at the point. The 73, 97, working 1 and 2 on the bottom. Then you have that outside lane being led by that Chevrolet. About a car length back. They seem to have it wound up and have some surge of energy here coming through the start-finish line through the tri-oval. So they're going to try to pull back even with that Irwin Ford Mustang, who commands eating on the bottom. Now working lap 40 of the scheduled 120. Let's do our first Crank It Up session here at Daytona. Go ahead, turn up the dial on your speakers along with us. Let's get loud at the Big House right here on Red Light Racing Network. Race fans, welcome back to the big house at Daytona. Oh man, we come back out of all-out coverage, and we got a race car that got sent down to the flatlands there. Was that Tim Phillips, perhaps the 42? Did a great job there of keeping it straight as he got sent down there right on a racetrack, and that is an abrupt transition there and usually upsets the balance of the race car. Joining me now up in the Tony Trapasso Memorial broadcast booth, very special guest co-host this evening, owner of DDR Racing, competes in the Ghost Cup Series. In fact, I also race for him on his team, DJ Daniel, or better known as Mr. Excitement. How are you this evening? Welcome to the big show at Daytona. Thanks for joining me up here in the booth this evening. What have you thought of this action so far since you've been up here in the booth?
Well, since I've been up here, I've almost just seen a wreck. That 33, that was an awesome save. But how are you doing on this fine Friday night?
Hey, man, I couldn't be any better. Some of the elite's brightest stars in iRacing at Daytona. Restrictor plate racing, paying homage to Dale, 42 cars strong. It does not get any better. And you're right, that was a big-time moment and a big-time save out there on the racetrack. And we've had a couple of those thus far here. But I'll tell you what, this has been a battle of the lines here since the drop of the green flag. You got Lucas Hosema up there in the 97 machine, who's up 8 positions, leading the charge there on the bottom in the Ford. Throwback to Kurt Busch or Kenny Irwin, if I remember correctly, in that 97 machine. Then you have the Chevrolet, the Battle of the USA, on the high side of the racetrack. He's getting all the help and support there from Jones. And a lot of these drivers have come from the back to the front. You know, that's kind of currently where we sit now. 45 laps written into the history books.
That 11 car on the outside is doing such an awesome job pushing.
Ryan Jones in the 11, and again, I'm not very familiar with Jones, but he certainly seems to have the ability to be a stout pusher out there on the racetrack, knows how to lay the bumper. And just as DJ says that, he is bringing the biscuits right now. Oh, 73 had to reel that race car back up in line. And you know, DJ, your point about the quality of drivers out here, especially with these saves we're seeing, a lesser experienced driver right there, ooh, this doesn't look good, as he gets a little offset there, perhaps loses that race car down the racetrack.
Yeah, these guys are doing an awesome job so far. This 73 and the 97 have done an awesome job controlling the front of this field so far.
That's a great point. It's a chess match. It's control. There's a lot of different things these drivers are doing, because leading at Daytona and running in the pack is two different things, right, DJ? And it's a different skill set. And some drivers are better at leading, others are better at following and pushing, which I'll say that is my stronger suit any day in the league. And then you have these guys up here like McWhorter, to your point, and we're 3 wide as we shift gears here. DJ, this is what we don't want to see. 3 wide coming out of the turn number 4 complex. This is when you got to get skinny.
Oh yeah, I knew it wasn't long. Some of these guys are going to get impatient. They were going to want to go. It looks like the 11 car has no help, though. He's going to lose all that track position.
Yeah, he got left out like a red-headed stepchild. That Ryan Jones in the 11 is now hemorrhaged all the way back to that 9th place position. However, he does seem to have some help up on that top shelf of the racetrack, right up against the safer barrier.
Oh! The 33 almost lost it.
What a
save.
What a coulda, shoulda. Once again, the 33 there of Dale Miller. And I'm going to go ahead and say, DJ, that was the don't stain your ride, lose tide moment of the race for Dale Miller. He may lose the draft here. And in fact, let's jump on board with him. Oh, yeah, he's right at that threshold. Taking a look here at his telemetry. Let's throw that up on the bottom left-hand or right-hand corner of your screen. You can see those miles per hour falling off, 185, 184.
Oh, man, that sucks. He had a fast hot rod, too.
He's got it.
But he still got the draft?
He still got the draft. They checked up in front of him, as we're now on board with him, but you can see the speed boost. He is now over 194 miles an hour and is now gaining ground on the last few cars in this lead pack. Granted, it is strung out a lot more than it was, but a close call.
I'll tell you
there.
what, he motored right back up to him, didn't he? That thing's got something under the hood, don't it? Woo!
Yeah, when you put the pedal down, and again, this is an open setup league here, so you can give all the benefits of the tuning, the speed shop. The more time you put out there testing on the racetrack, the better your car will be. And in this open setup configuration, you can really churn some mile per hour out of these Xfinity cars. And Miller is living on a prayer there, John Bon Jovi style, and it was answered as he now works his way back behind that fellow Chevrolet driver just in front of him as we send it now back up to the point. DJ, it is all McWhorter and Bryson Hicksonbaugh now up, not 10, not 12, 32 positions. He's taking it from all the way in the next county to the point, and look at that massive crossover maneuver from the Rocket. Hicksonbaugh just almost overshot it and took it off the racetrack and threw it down there so hard, DJ.
Yeah, I've seen that, man. I thought he almost lost it. That was a big move.
That was a big move and a kind of a statement maker, if you ask me. And that really shows me, or at least being up here in the booth, just how important it is to be at the front, carrying the torch to some of these drivers. And you can just see the urgency to get there. I mean, he didn't climb 32 positions for nothing in 51 laps. Obviously, being at the front of this race too as well is going to mitigate your chances of getting caught in the proverbial big one. Not that it's impossible, but certainly, DJ, I'm sure you can elaborate on this. You're a lot better off at the front leading than being, let's say, 10th on back. Your chances really go up once you get, in that sector of the pack as being caught up in one. And a lot of times you don't even see it coming, do you?
I've tested that theory of riding around in the back many a times, and 9 times out of 10 the track ends up blocked and there's nowhere to go.
You see,
I found it better to be in the lead than anywhere.
and you often do that at Daytona. As we go ahead and take down that telemetry, and you've had some high impact, high octane filling finishes yourself. My favorite one is when you blocked all 5 lanes at Talladega, including the grass, and held on for the win. Certainly, you're a guy that I go to for support at these plate tracks, and I knew you would be a great fit for joining me up top here in the booth for this race. As like I said, some of the elites in iRacing out there in competition tonight, is the one now comes to give some help to the 83. Adam Benefiel, your pole sitter, back to the point, DJ.
Uh-oh, we're coming up on a lap car here. We're going to be pretty wide here for a minute.
That lap car doing a great job.
Everybody skates by.
Thank you for that.
We've seen that turn into a disaster many times.
Yeah, an incident that comes to mind, and again, wasn't coming from the high side of the racetrack. It was merging back onto the racetrack. Don't let them page the field. That's one that often, I think of it. And you're right. I said this early in the broadcast. You just don't have a lot of real estate out there on the racetrack to work with when, you have a third car, especially out there by yourself. It's not fun for you as a driver or the other competitors in that pack, as I often find myself saying a prayer during those moments like that.
I find myself closing my eyes and letting Jesus take the wheel.
Not lifting until you see God or the checkered flag, isn't that right?
You got that right, brother.
You can see that translate out there on the racetrack as these laps continue to click off. We'll only see the intensity pick up from here. Hicksonbaugh, your leader, along with McWhorter, both pitted on lap 26. That's P1 and P2. Then your next 4 drivers, that's going to be between 3rd and that 7th place position, all came down on lap 31, and now that changes as Dustin Hall bumps up into that 5th place position now. So fuel mileage could become a factor here, not necessarily in the now, but in the later part of this race, as we have seen it be in the most recent years as well. Take a look now. That high lane was trying to get organized as we're 3 wide once again, and we got cars trying to make ground coming up the sucker hole, DJ.
Yeah, that got a little interesting there for a second. That little lane started to form now.
You know, that middle lane, you know, a lot of people, you know, drivers included, try to avoid that like the plague. And then, as we've seen in this race tonight, and yourself out there on the racetrack, you can use it to your advantage. How are you able to generate such strong runs up the middle like that? Ooh, contact. The one came up. Dustin Hall and door check. Look at that Toyota in the outside lane. They ricochet off of each other, and it is still hot and heavy at the line. DJ, these guys are really starting to turn it up.
Oh, yeah. We should be coming pretty close to pit stops now, shouldn't we?
Well, let's see. Again, 31 laps. They last pitted at lap 31. Your leader's at lap 26. We're currently at lap 57. So, yes, pit stops are in the near future. However, we are still 2x2 side by side. And typically, you know, you look to see. Did you see that?
What a push from the 83. That 73's been on. I don't even know what. That car's on rails, man. He's doing a whale of a job.
You know, these guys are next level. There is pushing, and then there's just getting a smack from a 10,000-pound, earth mover behind you coming up and just giving you the business and hitting the warp drive. And that's what happens when you get some of these elites behind you. They're just able to give you a massive speed boost out there on the racetrack, or almost looks like you got a 200 shot of nitrous at times, as that outside lane now has the troops, and they have reformed, and they are gaining momentum back on that high lane.
How about the 73? He said, I don't want to ride second. He's going to lead that outside lane now. They pull door to door for the lead.
Yeah, that's McWhorter, and that door-to-door side-by-side John Force special at the point. And outside of starting further in the back, McWhorter has been in the mix, has been up front, large and in charge. As we now work lap 60, let's go ahead and run it through the field, DJ. Starting with the leader of Bryson Hixenbaugh. Another driver we have to keep our eyes on as well, and I'm certainly the competition is doing the same. Out of Gilbert, Arizona, says press square to intimidate. And he is doing out that right now. No square button required. The quarter, your pole sitter, or excuse me,
Bottom broke up. The 73 might get cleared. Never mind.
Yeah, just as fast as it happens, it sometimes dissipates. Lucas Hotzema rounds out the top three out of Illinois in the 97 run. Adam Benefield, your pole sitter, back a couple spots, holding on to a top five out of Alabama, currently in fourth. And rounding out your top five up 24 positions. Doing it, getting it done, nitty-gritty style out on the racetrack. That is Roy Coe. Dustin Hall in the number one. We've seen it get dicey for him out there moments ago out of Utah. Currently holds on to that sixth place position, while the 25 currently slots in that seventh place position. Eric Weiland up 13 spots to the good. In ninth, Hunter True currently rounds out your top 10 in that 44 machine.
Oh, the 73 is going to get shuffled out. He's getting sucker holed.
The 73 in the quarter.
Oh, this is going to be bad.
Yeah, I don't like the looks of this. This is the diamond formation. This is typically when the nuclear bomb explodes, and it's a game of... You see all the pops and bangs. Here come... You don't want to be the one to call it, as I seen all those backfires and caution out on the racetrack. DJ, just as it looked like the dynamite was getting ready to explode out there on the racetrack.
I believe they may have been racing for a stage. I didn't see a wreck.
I sure as heck didn't either, but yet timing and scoring is trying to argue its point here. And not that timing and scoring is always right, but they were a little flustered. You know, those cars were definitely close quarters, and we've seen some of these guys taking evasive action.
That may have quite literally saved the 73 of Joseph McWhorter's
I agree.
car, because they were they were about to wreck, man.
Yeah.
There's no throwing shade on that one.
Exactly, and that's why I was hesitant to call it the stage there, especially when you got the the black box on our end screaming at us that, hey, we've had contact on the racetrack, but not the case. So this caution, not for incident, this is going to end the stage. Bryson Hicksonbaugh going to get credit for leading, being the first car across the start-finish line, and come one, come all, pit road becomes the hottest place in.
Oh, the 63 missed his box.
Bryson Hicksonbaugh with a rare mistake. DJ, great set of eyes, as that's going to cost him time out there on the racetrack. And everyone is in on pit road as the cameras decide they want to go rogue and do their own thing. This is interesting. Let's go ahead and do that. There we go. The work going on multiple cars, 4 tires and 2 Kansas Sunoco Racing Field. Gonna be the call as it's a mad dash down pit lane. 3 lanes wide at times.
Unbelievable. The 63 missed his box and he still came out second.
When you're good and you're on, and again, Daytona, you got to have lady luck on your side too. Don't get me wrong. But if that was me in the 63's shoes, I would have probably lost 25, 30 spots. Nope. Bryson, a hiccup on pit road. He's just that quick. He's just that good at it. He's still going to cycle back out onto the racetrack. DJ, I can't believe this. In second, or P2 as of right now, out of Gilbert, Arizona. And again, I love his little point, or his little tag there on his SDK on his press square to intimidate.
We know the reference.
We know the reference. I don't think he even needs that. You don't need to press anything. You just got to look in your mirror and see him, and that's enough. As we're now back out on the racetrack, back on the racing surface. Lights still on that iRacing.com pace car. We got to get this field sorted back out. We initially started this race with 42 drivers having a shot at winning here tonight. As it stands right now, DJ, we only have 1 car out of this race. That's going to be Jason Taylor in the 60. 41 cars still out there in competition. Actually, I take that back. Aaron Mack also may have put it on the hauler. So still a very sizable field out there as we get into the later stages now of this race. Want to thank everyone for joining us here on Red Line Racing Network. And again, if you could be so kind as to support the cause, like, share, subscribe, smash the like button, ring the bell. That way you'll get notified each and every time the Xfinity Friday Night's Light Series is live here in prime time on Red Line Racing Network, and you won't miss any of the high-flying, high-octane racing action. As those lights now out on that iRacing.com pace car, DJ. You as a driver, what are you doing right now as you prepare to go back to the green flag?
I'm looking for my manufacturer teammates or my teammates in general, because that's the name of the game at plate tracks nowadays.
Yet it almost seems like you pay a hefty fine, one way or the other, if you should use or choose to work with someone of another manufacturer out there on the racetrack. But, that's one of the things I like about iRacing, at least at the level that I race at. Sometimes if your teammate's not around, you work with anybody. It's all about getting the win, but sometimes politics gets involved.
Until it's the last lap. Then there's no politics. It's gloves off.
That's right. As a driver, that you set the internal switch to kill. You see red, and you don't lift. As I said earlier, you see God or a checkered flag as we get ready to come off of 4.
I look at these 2 front rows, and I see 2 Fords and 2 Chevrolets. Pretty interested to see what happens here.
That little Chevrolet on Ford action in the battle of the blue oval here, coming into the restart zone. Green flag in the air. Wipe the dust, hit the clutch. Hope that rear end doesn't bust. We are getting back to the bookie here at Daytona. Great restart, DJ, by both lanes as the Fords command all lines here as we come back up to speed.
Yeah, me and you know this, Matt. These Fords, when they get lined up on a plate track, they're hard to beat.
Are they ever? I mean, you even see it in real life. Look at the pushing. Get the 83 there. You're pulsing. Say, hey, if you can do it, I can do it better. They almost got a three-way car tandem on the bottom. And look at them hit the afterburner as they shoot out. Take a sizable advantage there on the racetrack as they are ripping, eating on the bottom. Hoeksema going to lead that lap. That high lane struggles or seem to struggle at times getting momentum on these restarts. And I think that's something to keep in mind, DJ, if we should come into a situation late in this race, you know, when we go last chance qualifier style, a couple laps to go or perhaps into overtime, you know, sometimes, you know, some of these drivers may remember that, and that could weigh heavy on their lane selection should things develop, you know, in that direction. You know, but as of right now, we have no idea how this race is going to play out as we're now back up to speed. Coming out of turns number 3 and 4, everyone chasing Lucas Hoeksema.
You were just talking about the one car. Look at him sneaking in this battle here. Third car on the bottom.
Justin Hall in that fifth place position out of Utah. Oh, he just threw it in there. He is, we got a car up in the fence. Chevrolet just went cheese grater mode. You seen the sparks flying off of that machine? Believe that was the 87 of Wyden. And I could be wrong. No, he's piloting a TRD. That was not the case. But I believe it was the 69 ride. Kurt Mills was the car that got into the fence there. And you know, DJ, these Xfinity cars, not as tough as the next gens when it comes to contact with the wall. You do that a couple times, it can really hurt the aerodynamic performance of this race car.
Yeah, 100%, man. And you get yourself backed up in a corner like that, and it's hard unless you get enough caution to fix it.
And that's a big ask because they're not all...
Whoa! The 73!
Holy good Lord Jesus.
That just woke us both up.
Yeah, I'm going to have to scrape myself off the floor here. As we got a car going blinky mode into 25. As he hit the flux capacitor and then just came back in 1.25 gigawatts later. And braking in iRacing or any form of sim racing is bad, DJ, but when you do it here at a restrictor plate track, I mean, that is the ultimate evil.
It gives you a heart attack, man.
Well, that's just the thing. I mean, that's the only, you know, if your connection is your life source of keeping your connection, your position out there on the racetrack, and when it decides it wants to take a break, your car disappears from competition. Hence the, you know, Back to the Future reference. And then guess what? Sometimes when you come back in...
Whoa, the 73 again!
These guys are just insane right now.
And in his own words, he said, Jesus, yeah, I'd be saying Jesus too, and I'd be ordering a brand new pair of underwear.
Yeah, he's going to have Haynes on board that car next week if this keeps up. And, you know, that's the other benefit of having a number 2 up here in the booth. You can listen on the, you know, the radio chatter where myself, I don't have that luxury as, well, sometimes you just don't know what might be said over those airwaves. So great to have you up here as well for a little more of an in-depth look at what these drivers are saying out there on the racetrack. Oh, as that Camaro gets up into the fence again. Oh, this is not good. 3 lanes of 3 wide up here. That Camaro's coming down. And Mills, thank you. Mills is the driver, side drafting a fellow Chevrolet. Almost bounced off of each other, not once but twice, as the 73 gets the momentum dialed up and delivers Bryson Hixenbaugh back to the lead here, coming into the turns 3 and 4 complex.
Yeah, the 69 doesn't want to ride at all, does he? He wants to go to the front. He's just got no help, man. Nobody wants to go 3 wide this early.
But, and I get the urge to want to come to the front, but you got to have a chance. And I'm sorry. I mean, you cannot just throw that race car and glue it. You know, even if you want to try to pull off the side draft of the century, you have to literally stick that race car. That's not only going to slow down that outside lane's momentum, it's going to hurt yours and just allow, whatever lane that does not have that restriction or deploying that air brake to get a really big advantage here. I don't think you're really helping in your situation at all.
Oh, he's got help now.
But now he does have help. This changes everything. As Mills says,
is going to go with him.
As Mills says, I'm going to make a liar out of you, Matt. And Nate, I'm okay. I'm all about it.
Does anybody go off the block? Here he is. 3 wide per second.
Dixon Ball may try to sniff this one out. It is close. Oh, he takes it down to the bottom.
Oh, this isn't going to end well.
My God, look at the difference when you have a chance partner, a battle buddy out there on the racetrack. Mills couldn't make a run if his life depended on it, but the minute he got a good pusher, someone that wasn't afraid to do the work, they took off and charged towards the front. But now, DJ, now that 69 is going to leave the 44 hung out to dry, he does have a slot to jump down in if he is quick about it. But
oh, no, you can't leave your dancing partner out. Come on, man.
That's what I'm thinking. Or the other thing is, too, this could be the time of the race, DJ. You're trying to generate some runs here to see how long it's potentially going to take you. And here we go, the 44.
Oh, the 44's in the fence.
Yeah, the 44 just doggy-talked himself. I don't think he meant to take it up that high.
That's so easy to do with these plate tracks, man. You get a little carried away going too fast, and next thing you know, you're in the fence. There's a cushion there in the wall that sucks you in.
Well, you have all those different factors, and you're right. And it doesn't take much as we're 3 wide. Now the 19 is the cream filling in the Oreo sandwich here. As you can see that dirty air really moving that car around. He gets some great work from that super in the high side lane, pushing the 69 once again. We're right back to it. 73 laps on the board here, live on Red Line Racing Network. Chevrolet on Ford action at the front, and Mills is fearless and determined to get that high side working today.
They just need one more car.
Let's jump on board with Mills, who is running top shelf of the racetrack where Mama hides the cookies, and it is the hot and furious Hornet's Nest right now out there on the racetrack. A matter of inches between himself, the wall, and mayhem erupting on the racetrack as he gets a good shot there from his dancing partner as he's going to pull alongside. It's going to be a 3-wide battle here as he makes contact with the wall, going for it all. That's going to cost him some momentum. You see that slip up on that high side of the racetrack. He's going to try it here once again. Let's flip the camera around to the bumper, and he has a face full of Toyota Supra. DJ, you want to talk about close quarters right now. I mean, this is as tense as you can get with the way we're racing here at the front of this thing right now.
Yeah, like I said, man, they just need one more car and they'll go.
Let me play, I don't want to say devil's advocate, but what does that extra car do that gives them that extra, just that increase in momentum and able to get enough speed to go up there and perhaps not only maintain or contest for the lead, but being able to take the lead and even clear down to the bottom of the racetrack? What does that extra car give you that you just don't have with 2 race cars?
I'm going to say if you have that third car, you notice 44 has to back off about 3/4 of the way down the straightaway so he doesn't blow up. Uh-oh, we got trouble here. This ain't going to be good.
Oh, 1-0.
Lap car. Whoa, they just got killed. Oh, that track position they had.
We've gotten lucky very so far throughout the course of this race without any lap traffic really playing a factor. That was probably the most impact we've had thus far. However, does not bring out a caution. We still keep it lean, mean, and green. But DJ, that really disrupted the momentum and the sorting of the deck, if you will, behind the leader, particularly around that 10th to 15th place position on back. And we still have drivers still trying to get back in line.
Yeah, I was just about to say, but back to the point, man. When you have that third car, it allows you to kind of still keep that energy when you lift. Because, you know, when you're a pusher, you have to watch your temps.
Oh, yeah.
If you have that third car, it kind of helps you just continue that energy, if that makes sense.
No, it makes perfect sense, and I love how you just had to mention your temps. As I was running second at Daytona on the final lap and blew it through the heavens coming into 3 and 4. Thank you for reminding me, broadcast buddy.
I'll tell you what, man, you had me at the edge of my seat. I'm just screaming, "Go Matt," the whole time. It's a different kind of feeling when you're sitting there watching one of your own drivers trying to go for the win.
Yeah, I'll tell you.
Definitely gives you high blood pressure.
I had high blood pressure, and it went from, that's Daytona, right? The highest and highs and the lowest of lows. You know, immediately it was in a matter of milliseconds, it went from, I'm going to potentially have a shot to win this race, if not a solid podium, to, oh my God, I'm going to be lucky for, go ahead.
You know, I got caught up in a bunch of wrecks, but man, I had that car fixed and I was trying everything I could to get back to you. I was gonna shove the life out of it.
I know you were.
I was gonna be a menace to society.
Well, we'll have another opportunity here later this season. We have another lap car now as we jump on board with your leader, Hoxenbaugh. You will see there is lap traffic 3 o'clock high here. Or the third lane top shelf of the racetrack. Let's go ahead and widen things back out. That Mustang going to keep it literally painted up against the fence, doing a great job giving all these guys on the lead lap in the lead in this pack all the room they need, the most room he can possibly give them. You know, and that's how you do it out there on the racetrack. That's the type of driver I would be out there with. Even when it's not their best night, they're still making an effort not to impact the flow and the outcome of the race. Well done, well executed. As he should be able to hold on to the lead draft here. You know, DJ, let's go a little bit further back in the field. The driver, you know, I thought he'd be a little further ahead in the running order right now than where he currently is. Tanner Martin in that 29 machine, currently outside of the top 20, runs in that 21st place position. Piloting that Toyota Supra right now. Beautiful looking paint scheme. In fact, let's jump downstairs. Let's hitch a ride with him. And I love that heavy purple. I'm a sucker for that color. I'm just saying, everyone's different. But Tanner Marty right now, currently just outside the top 20 in that 21st place position.
It's still a long ways to go. Look, we're 3 wide for the lead right now.
3 wide for the lead. We're on board with Marty. Let's go ahead and send it back up to the point.
The 21 maybe out 3 wide for the lead on the outside. He's going to get hung out. The 44 stays with him.
That's the thing. You go to make that move, and you got to dial up a lot of courage, and you got to have a hope and a prayer that someone's going to go with you. Ooh, is it got close quarters there? Once again, a couple of cars just a mere millimeters off of each other, or perhaps contact you see. Those cars really breathe in there just behind the leaders. Chevrolet teamed up with the Yoda.
Oh, the 69's back.
That's Kirk Mills. He is not afraid to be a one-man army. We've seen that, and he makes contact with the fence again, though. I mean, he is really trying to he's trying that line that Earnhardt Jr. used to run at Michigan. I mean, he is trying to literally run as high as you possibly can out there on the racetrack. And I agree with him. I think if he could just get enough help, DJ, that lane could really generate a lot of momentum, but you have to be perfect with the wall being right there, don't you?
That 44 is just being a menace to him, man.
Talking about Hunter Truex in the 44.
He's doing an awesome job trying to keep that third lane back. Whoa, the 73 almost lost it. Wow, that is the 4th or 5th time we've seen that.
Again, McWhorter continues to impress in all things Daytona related.
I don't know most of these guys that well, but this 73, he's a wheel man.
And that's one thing I love about this league, DJ. All these drivers, as an iRacing sim driver, I look up to. A lot of them I consider to be elite. And to have all of this great talent under one roof is really special to be able to be up here in the broadcast booth. And, I learn a lot from watching these guys, too, as well. And if one night isn't enough from you, you can watch a lot of these drivers take on the Cup Series action tomorrow night on the Coney Entertainment Network. So make sure you tune in over on their channel to watch these guys battle it out next-gen style, and that's tomorrow night, same time, however, on the Coney Entertainment Network. Is Hixenbaugh up 32 positions. He is eating good in the neighborhood, and he's got the 97 of Hotsema looking like old vintage Kurt Busch out there behind him in tow, and your pole sitter, Adam Benefield out of Alabama. All working. Yeah. Go ahead, DJ.
Anybody that understands plate racing, man, that is so hard to do to come from the back.
And then you have the other way that says, basically plate racing, no skill at plate tracks. There we go.
Oh yeah, it definitely doesn't take any skill, right?
I'm not one of those. However, I do hear that a lot, but I think if you want to be, it's just like anything. If you want to be good at it, if you want to be elite, if you want to be one of the greats, there is a lot of skill. And that's throughout various forms of racing, different types of racing. Plate racing or taper will be modern day correct here. Tapered spacer. As everyone continues to try to find a way to dethrone the 73 or the 63 and the 73. It's almost like they have an invisible force field behind those race cars at the front. No one can really see to get around these two. They're just doing such a great job of leading. And at times almost seeming like they're working together to control both these lanes. I mean, everyone is just checked up. I should say checked up behind them, but it's really hard for these guys to generate runs when you're running this fast out there, DJ.
Yeah, well, Matt, I'm going to shy here since I like to be controversial sometimes, but a lot of these keyboard warriors that think this takes no skill or whatever, I'd love to see them come out here and try to win one of these races.
It's a very humbling experience, isn't it?
100%. These are the hardest races to win, and it's not all about luck. You have to know how to work the air. You have to know where to position your car. There's so much that goes into it, man.
Go ahead.
It's not like racing a mile and a half for a short track. It is insanely hard, especially if you're all by your lonesome.
All by your lonesome without a battle buddy, a dance partner, a friend. And as we get further back through this field, I know we're hot and heavy up front, but want to give an opportunity for all these fans checking in and get see their driver out there on the racetrack. Here comes some pit stops, starting in the rear with the gear. Chase Hedge going to come down pit road. There's Mason Lawry, Tanner Marty still out there on the racetrack. But the first wave now coming in, and this is at lap 87 of the scheduled 120, DJ.
Yeah, I'd like to think they should be able to make it from here whenever they stop.
We'll see what the call is. This could just be fuel only.
Here comes half the lead pack here. A lot of them still staying out, though.
Come one, come all.
Nice and easy here. You don't
want to blow your wad on the money stop. You're absolutely right. And how many times have we seen that? Oh, Hixenbaugh overshoots again.
63 misses his box again.
He seems to be good.
He might be okay, though.
He seems to have a knack for that and still coming out okay. And again, this pit stop, I mean, this is just mentally and physically taxing, gut-wrenching.
He'll be all right.
He'll be all right. He's got plenty of help behind him, too.
It's never okay to miss your box, but it's good when you're the first one coming in. Because you still got, you're still pretty much going to come out in front of everybody if you can get that car back in that box.
Here comes another group of race cars coming down pit road. Brian Jones, Hunter Gould, Joseph McWhorter, a gentleman we've been talking about a lot lately. There's the 44. Hunter Truhl as well in the Toyota.
Wow, the 83 playing no games. He just passed somebody on the apron, leaving the pits.
That's going to be Adam Benefield. That is going to be your pole sitter out of Alabama.
That was a nice move.
Let's see if we can go back. Let's take manual control. We can go VHS mode. As we are covering action on pit road. My broadcast partner alluding to a beautiful maneuver here. Let's see if we can catch this. Just bear with me one more moment, folks. So here they are coming off of pitway. Coming up to speed, I should say.
Oh, we almost just had a big wreck coming into pits. That could have been bad.
Well, it is the money stop, and you got moves being made by other people's misfortune on the pit road, and you're right, what a power move there by the 83. In the words of Cletus McFarland, he let it rip tater chip on the apron, and that's how you gain time out there on the racetrack. Having the guts to do things like that, as we now send it back to the live side of things, and Lucas Hoeksema in that Irwin Tools Ford Mustang leads. Well, look who's behind him. The one-man army of Kurt Mills in the 69 machine. Remember, he was like a mercenary out there trying just to get that high side to go. And he did not quit. And now he finds himself in P2, working lap 91 of 120, DJ.
Yeah, they're trying this strategy where you stay out longer than everybody else and you try to get lined up and put some hot speeders down, and they'll pit. They should have to take less fuel. Theoretically, it's the winning strategy, but you know how these plate tracks are. You never know.
And how many times throughout the course of this week, or at least our time here at Daytona, throughout the leagues that we run in, or on the broadcast side of things, have we seen that proverbial monkey wrench be thrown in and blow people's strategies, drivers to smithereens with a late race caution to completely reset and change the game for overtime and the finishes we have seen because of that. But for right now, you're absolutely right, DJ. These guys are going to try to play the long run game here, stay out longer, take less fuel. As long as they have the numbers with them coming on and off pit road, you would think they should cycle back to the lead, right?
They should. It's such a double-edged sword, because if you can't get those hot laps down and those guys leaving the pits get lined up quickly, you'll pay for it.
Right, and the other point is, too, this second pack right now. So right now we're on currently the lead pack. However, they have to come down pit road.
Here comes the lead pack. The 69 stays out.
Mills is gonna. Well, I can't believe Kirk Mills stayed out. Anyways, everyone else on back is going to come down pit road, and we saw great entry there. Beautiful execution. Lucas Hoeksema, Dave Hoeksema, the 07 machine on pit road as well, as he's now down and away.
The 69 just came across the radio and he said he's not pitting for a while.
Stop playing with me.
And he said, full throttle, just hit me to the AT.
Full throttle, just hit me.
They're gonna try to get lined up and put some heaters down.
Now,
try to separate themselves.
Getting back
and Matt, there's a fine line between too many cars and not enough. If you get about 4 or 5 cars, you will be faster in a pack.
That's a great point, DJ. And I think the type of car also, has to do with it as well as what configuration, what car, what gen you're running out there on the racetrack. But look at this. This pack just got broken up, excuse me. As it looks like the Blue Angels now coming out of the turns 1 and 2 complex. They get single file, but that had to cost them some time right there. As Kirk Mills.
When you do this, you can't race like they're trying to do. You have to stay single file.
Right, that's exactly my point. By them being, disrupted and just unorganized here, this is doing the exact opposite of what you want in theory. And in fact, you can see that in their lap times. You can see that they're just going into the red here. Now, Kirk Mills still out there on the racetrack, 26 laps to go. The first car that has just pitted on this recent stop, Dustin Hall, here in that, he scored in that 3rd place position. He's going to have help from Hunter Truex, Adam Benefiel, your pole sitter, and the usual suspects we've been speaking about, Horner, Hixenbaugh, etc. However, these guys, as it stands right now, as I'm waiting for timing and scoring to update, over 31 seconds behind the two leaders. The difference is, though, each time Mills and company stays out there, they are still giving up a moderate amount of time. This could be one of those instances, DJ, where if they're hemorrhaging too much speed out there on the racetrack and giving too much up, it would benefit them to come down sooner than later, correct?
Right. But you can't race here. You got to stay single file, and you got to try to put those hot laps down.
You want to put down those qualifying laps, or as DJ said, those heaters.
They're just costing themselves time now.
And I don't see how this could be strategy. Is now that, well, that tail car, that Camaro now is going to jump down to the bottom, and Mr. Old, dedicated to the high side of the racetrack, is being extra dedicated. Now he decides to come down. He joins the train, and they all get on the same page, and those speeds should translate. They've been out there since lap 61. They have to be running on fumes right now as we go right back to it. This is rather puzzling. As we'll shift our focus now back to the second group, or what will be your lead group here. Hunter Truex calling the shots on the top shelf of the racetrack. He has help from the 73. Joseph McWhorter on the bottom. The first two lanes, or rows, I said it right the first time, feature your pole sitter.
Hey, Matt.
Yes, sir.
Parker Kligerman just won the truck race.
Parker Kligerman just won the truck race at Daytona. You know, that is something to smile about.
It is.
Happy for that man to win.
Sorry for interrupting the broadcast, but I love Parker Kligerman. How can you not?
You gotta like that guy. You know, obviously we all know him as a personality and a voice on the broadcast side of things in real life, but a very underrated race car driver, if you ask me. And I'm happy to hear that he won a truck race. He finally got a victory at Daytona. Just don't do that in Sunday Night NASCAR at SNN. No spoilers. And I'm pretty sure the admins here in this series, and you didn't know that, DJ, are okay with those types of announcements. But some leagues, it's a big no-no, as we still have John Force action here. You were talking about a couple cars getting lined up to be the three on the top shelf, DJ, and they just lit the afterburner, and the 44 took it all the way to the point, but he left his friends out to hang out to dry, and those guys could remember that, is that group of Camaros has now, well, he repaid the favor. I swear these guys are listening to us at the booth at times, as Hunter came back up the racetrack, as he probably realized what he did and said, that's not going to help me as we get down here to the closing laps of this race, as it's currently three cars on the top shelf of the racetrack, a Toyota and a pair of Chevrolets going up against two Chevrolets and a Mustang on that bottom lane.
This isn't for the lead just yet. Just remember, the 69 and the 27 haven't pitted yet, but they're in a group of lapped cars. That's what their support is right now.
Right, that's their support. However, you know, a few laps ago, they had over a 31-second lead. That has now been shaved down to under 26 seconds.
Yeah, at this point, you're just losing time.
And that was, you know, my thought process and what I was thinking earlier. You know, I understand the logic and how it could be a good thing, but when you're giving up 5 seconds in 4 laps, you know, that, all the benefits of that strategy is vaporizing in your face every moment you're out there on the racetrack.
Maybe they think there's going to be a caution?
Well, oftentimes what I've figured out, if something doesn't make sense to me, either I missed something or they know something that we don't know. I didn't have a chance to jump in on board in our cutaway car or our track car this evening, so I didn't get a good read on fuel mileage. But if I go by what we've seen earlier in the race, I don't see how. There's no way they can make it. They have to be hoping on something. You know, they know something that we don't, or perhaps it's just like you said earlier. You got to have luck. You got to have faith. In the words of Limp Bizkit, and they're going to bank on a late race yellow here to get them where they need to be. As it's still Mills, Tim Phillip, Hunter Truex, and then you come back here to the main battle, the main pack.
You know, Matt, I can't rule out any kind of fuel mileage because we've seen what happened to us Wednesday night.
Oh boy, did we ever.
I didn't know you could save 2 laps of fuel.
I saved 3.5.
Okay, I didn't think it was quite that much, but
I didn't think it was possible either. But
y'all out strategy both me and the 59 of Kyle.
Yeah, that doesn't happen very often.
Not in that race. Not in this race.
Well, not you guys in general. I think that's the first time that ever worked in my favor. You know, in the movies like The Little Giants, you know, they were getting manhandled that whole entire football game. But it just takes one time, one play. And that was my one at Las Vegas. As we now have the one machine now cycled back to the point that Oreo paint scheme made famous by, I believe, Dale Earnhardt Jr. drove that scheme. Senior drove not that exact scheme, but a similar Nabisco paint scheme with that color featured on it. And Tony Stewart as well spent time in that scheme as well. Great looking cars out there on the racetrack. And that's another thing that didn't have as much time to talk about as I would like, given the fact that we are plate racing is DJ a lot of beautiful and nicely painted race cars out there in competition this evening under the lights.
Oh yeah, for sure. I love that 97 paint scheme. That blue just looked awesome under the lights of Daytona.
You know, sometimes you see these paint schemes, and if you've been a fan of the sport for a long time, you see colors and fonts like that, and it just gives you chills.
So let's see what happens here. I just got word that the 69 is pitting this lap.
We're going to keep it right here, and we're going to jump on board with Mills.
Let's see if the cavalry comes with them or not. That's basically going to decide it here.
You're on board with your leader, who is currently 20 seconds ahead of that second pack, who has already completed pit stops. They are good to go the distance.
Now, this could work, but you can't make a mistake.
He's coming
here.
down
You
pit
have
road.
to be perfect.
Mills is heading to pit lane. You see the fire in flames. Drivers on the binders. You don't want beautiful entry and execution here by all parties involved. I got to give it.
He's got cavalry with him.
He's got the cavalry, and that was a brilliant job getting onto pit lane by.
He missed his box.
That was
just by a hair.
That was the 8th. Just by his hair, though. We've seen that. Down and away, I think.
All right. Let's pivot our cameras back to the 44.
We're there. Now here comes the high-flying, high-octane racing action in this pack as they are at full tilt. They are now going into the turns 3 and 4 complex.
It looks like they're just lost some time in that.
Yeah, they're not even up to speed yet. Oh, wait, no, those are 2 cars coming down pit road. 15 laps remaining.
And we have a new leader, the one of Dustin Hall. From the rear.
From the rear, the caboose, and gets it right up to the point there. Don't want to say he was kind of hiding in the weeds all race, but he trying to be that guy under the radar, flying stealth, keep me out of people's minds. Don't be talking about me. Don't want you thinking about me, per se. And I'm just going to pull a Harvick. Where did he come from here at the end of this piece? And Dustin Hall really starting to show what kind of a hot rod he has out there tonight. As Adam Benefield, your pole sitter, I mean, he has been beast mode all race long. So is Hicksonbaugh and McWhorter. We spent a lot of time talking about these guys. With 14 laps remaining. DJ, I assume we're going to perhaps see the calm before the storm here. You know, these drivers know that if we stay under these current green flag conditions, it's going to be this group, this piece of the matrix that's going to have the opportunity to race for a win. They're also going to want to try to mitigate cautions on the racetrack, so I imagine they probably, keep it pretty mild until that last 4 miles or 5 miles to go or so, right?
Yeah, the race doesn't typically start until about 2 to go. Or coming to the light. It depends.
Or other times it's on from the drop of the green flag, and 35 cautions later you have the one car that can still drive in a straight line in the winter. It just depends on how these things go. That certainly has not been the case here, as we've seen excellent plate racing on display for the entire length of this race thus far. I'll tell you what, that 83 he is like Hixenbaugh. He can just push whoever he wants to the moon. Oh, almost like, that's the last thing you want to do. It wasn't Hotsuma, but you got to remember, we have 2 Hotsumas in this field. That Camaro back there on that 10th place position. Got set below that double yellow. He gets it back up. As Dustin Hall still continues to get big-time support and assistance from that Team Connie sponsored Chevrolet, doing all the hard work just behind him. And now Bryson Hixenbaugh is going to take that dark horse to the high side of the racetrack, as we are on the verge of having just 10 laps to set kickoff night. Oh my God, we have multiple cars up and over doing a rail slide. Dreams have been destroyed. Teeth and dental work are going to be required. Oh my God. Boom shakalaka. The big one hits, and Hixenbaugh is jumped. I need a moment. DJ, where are you at? Did I lose DJ? I can't believe what we just witnessed here on Redline Racing Network, as a nuclear warhead just went off at the front of the field. Daytona has been absolutely terrifying, treacherous, gut-wrenching over the course of this week, and it happens here again. The Friday Night Lights, I cannot believe this, ladies and gentlemen. Watch this replay. Say, ready for it to be fully queued up here, involving some of the most fierce competitors in this race thus far. Take it here from the second take. And you can see right there already, we got big-time problems as we're going nitro circus. We're doing safer barrier wall grinds. This is not good. We're going to back this up. I mean, look at the cut. This is absolutely insane. Coming, doing big-time push. You see the 63. He gets a bad push. He's going to go down there and high-five the bottom lane, and it's going to act like a magnet and just, oh, my God.
That was shades of Lightning McQueen there.
Tony Hawk, eat your heart out. Evil Knievel.
Tony Hawk's better.
I mean, he took the Evil Knievel line, and he had... I mean, I'm going to roll this back. We're going to jump on board here And what makes it even more gut-wrenching is this was the pole sitter. I'm going to stop that here, and we're just going to go to the cockpit view here. And this, we're going to watch this at speed. Roll playback.
Oh, that was a flick thing.
Oh, my God.
On the driver's side. Man, that just makes you cringe.
It does. I mean, that was, my God. I mean, I've seen some wrecks that have really stuck out, some extremely hyper-violent ones. I mean, the ones that just make you even hurt, and you weren't even, affixed to that race car's steering wheel any way, shape, or form, and you could still feel it from it. This is one of them.
Wow, that was about the whole lead pack.
And that's the other point. I mean, watch this. This is, everything was perfect. It was there. It doesn't take much. It takes one little push the wrong way, and this race car probably just reacted differently than it did. 200 times, it got a little bit of a help, a little nudge in this area of the racetrack. And it's just going to go horribly wrong.
Well, in the words of Darrell Waltrip, that changes everything.
Yeah, including his race suit. I just cannot believe it. I mean, because completely rearranged the potential candidates here who, can win this race, because now everyone's back in it. If you're on the lead lap, you have a chance. You have a shot now. Oh, my God. 63 on pit road again, DJ. No fast repairs in their back pocket. So if you break it, you wait it out in the pits. And for some of these guys, it's going to be game over. And so there's just no way some of these cars can continue, as it's still raining parts in the RV lot out there on the racetrack. As we're under caution for the biggest incident on the evening, which for all intents and purposes have wiped the leaders, the front runners, top performers, not only out of the race, but off the face of virtual existence.
Look at the first two cars on the bottom and tell me who you see. They're familiar.
Alex Princeton.
And then look right behind them. Look who's back.
The 97. Lucas Hoeksema back in it to win it.
And the 33 is back as well.
The 33 is back. Dale Miller, the thriller, right there. Tanner Marty.
That put a lot of faces in there.
It certainly did, and it reinvigorates you. It gives you a new spark, a new breath, a new hope. Certainly the quarter doesn't need that, because, I mean, he's been up there. And both Hoeksemas have. But how about Alex Princeton? I said at the top of the broadcast, this guy is about as patient as they can be. And here he is. Going to restart that second place position. Bottom lane going to have the trigger here. Barney's got that green flag in the air as he goes deep into the restart zone. Trying to play a little razzle-dazzle with just 7 laps remaining. DJ, go ahead, take us back up to speed.
That all but saved the 69 cars race that caution. I would definitely look for him to start some kind of 3-wide move. It's time to go now. We're inside of him to go.
7 laps remaining on the board as this field. These 2 lanes of crazy trains doing the Indy snake at times down the backstretch. Whoa, hold on to it.
Oh, look at the push on the outside.
Big time steam being given there to the 19 machine as he had a face full of the 07 in the business end of that race car.
We're 3 wide in the back. The 21's trying to go up the middle.
The 21 trying to send it up the sucker hole. 2 cars get sent down to the flatlands of the racetrack. Oh, we got problems. The Steve Williams gets cheated. He takes a speed date down to the inside retaining wall.
What a save, the 73!
The 73 machine with an incredible save out there on the racetrack. That's the corner. Let's go ahead and just roll this back as we're looking at another incident on the racetrack. Thank you for calling that out, DJ.
We're still green.
We're still green. We're still going to take a look at this really quick.
Oh, big block. The 97 and the 07 go down to the bottom. The 21's leading the
McWhorter
outside
with
now.
the big
He's got
save
help.
right there. Now we transport back to the live side of things, back up to the point. We're trying to cover everything here in the broadcast booth as it's now a new leader, a new face at the point. Daniel in the 07 machine, up 38 positions, carries the torch with 5 laps remaining out of the Lone Star State, DJ.
It's time to go now, Matt. Gloves off. We're inside of 5 to go at Daytona.
I agree. All bets are off. You're going to work with anyone who you can possibly think is going to give you the best chance to get there. You're seeing red. Give and take is out the window. Those lifts, those burps and the throttles you were going to give early in the race are a thing of the past. Not going to happen. You are not going to lift, and you will drive through somebody if that's what it takes to get the job done here. Do unto others as they do unto you. As we are now taking another lap off the board to come to the Geico restart zone. The 07 leads another one, but here comes that outside lane, and like their marketing slogan says, let's go places. The TRD-powered machine is trying to take it to the point on the upstairs lane. Needs a little bit more help from that second car in line, DJ. Push back to the 07 from the 97. Hotsema has been a superb, however you want to put it, pusher this race. Brinson, who's been hiding in the weeds, lurking in the bushes all race long, has decided it was time to light the wick and bring it to the front as Brinson leads the outside lane in that TRD-powered machine out of Lake Elmo.
I'm watching this 97. I don't think we're going to ride here. I think he's going to try to go to the top shelf.
3 laps to go here. He's talking about Lucas, or Hotsema, the Lucas version.
Oh, look at the 69. He's trying to make a third lane. I told you.
69 time. Trying to make a third lane there on the high side. Does not have a dancing partner, though. You need one of those. As we're going to send it back up here to this lead battle.
He's going to go up the middle now. Look at the move.
The 69 is a possessed madman trying to find a way, a path to the front, making lanes where there's not lanes. He does a little bit of a bob and weave, a razzle-dazzle to the high side of the racetrack. Now he's got help from the Toyota and a Mustang on the top shelf. Is Daniel, the 07, continues to lead the torch here. Oh, we got cars up and around. We have.
Oh, no.
That is going to bring out the yellow.
Oh, no.
Oh.
There was a lot of good cars in that wreck.
And Adam Benefield just met his master of his iRacing disaster here moments ago. As we go back to the replay, and DJ, this looks very familiar. That is, of course, it looks familiar because that's the wrong replay. That's not the right one.
Wow, that 39 car took a lick, man. Head
Big
on
time.
into the outside wall. They just got up there in the fence, trying to use all the racetrack.
I mean, that was bonsai. I think Boy Collins was in that, so let's try to get a beat on it this way. Here we go. So let's keep it there. Let's send it up to the eye in the sky here. See what the chopper picked up.
Tell me how the 69 saved that car.
I don't have answers for that. I don't.
That was...
I
He might be okay here. He did make some contact with the wall and another car, obviously, but
he gets dead hooked into the fence face first, and it's game on from there.
Now, that's one of the worst things, man, when you don't see it coming.
Oh, the 39's going the wrong way, has a meeting of the minds with the 18.
Now watch the 69 car. Look at the save.
The 69 is fighting it every which way but straight.
I mean, he needs to be at the dirt track on a Saturday night. Goodness
And that was
gracious.
that save was almost spiritual.
Go to his cockpit. Wow.
That's where we're going next. We just got to back this up a little bit here. So probably be having his inside of his race car dry clean for the next month, but still well worth it. I think that's good right there. And now let's jump inside the cockpit here. Come on, work with me. There we go. You're on board with Mills. Look at this save here. We'll go ahead and speed it up.
That was impressive.
You could hear him working the throttle, everything he had at his disposal at that time to keep that car in one piece, and he does that. Because now we get ready to go. DJ, we said this was a possibility, and it looks like it's become a reality, as we're not going to be able to get to a natural finish here with the normal amount of scheduled laps here when we took the initial green flag, which means we're going to go all the way and invoke overtime. And why not? The very fitting way to start the season under the lights in prime time.
Looks like we're going to have 3 attempts at a green-white checkered.
We're going all the way.
If anybody is watching this and they are unfamiliar with the green-white checkers, come take the green. If you come around to get the white, the next flag ends the race. Whether it be the caution or the checkered.
Well said, DJ, and I could not agree more with you. Well, we have a break in the coverage. We want to thank Nick Vance, Sticky Morty for joining us here, Lucas H. sounding off in the live chat, Sydney chanting on the 42, Mason Laurie. A lot of 42 fans in the house tonight. Jules saying go Zach in the 50. Team Ricky Bobby. Dale Naughton. Nick Vance, we appreciate you sounding off in the chat and being along for the ride with us tonight here on Redline Racing Network. Currently have 47 viewers live currently tuning into us. We appreciate it, and those drivers appreciate you. A couple cars going to come off the pit road here, DJ as well. Perhaps one last chance to kind of pound that fender out, get a little bit of aerodynamic fluidity back in that race car. And if it wasn't high octane enough for you, this is going to open up a whole new level. As it is now sudden, well, not technically sudden death, as we have 3 opportunities. But DJ, it's a big ask to take the green flag and get all the way back around this place. It's a long way. If we get back to the line and we don't have a yellow, we're going to race it back to the checkered flag. But if we don't get there, we're going to have to re-rack, reset, and do it again. And we can go up to 3 times, which is the maximum you can do on the iRacing side of things.
Well, you can't do unlimited, but sometimes that turns into a disaster.
That would probably be the race that would never end. You probably just until there was one car still standing.
We've been there a couple times. We've been there a couple times, haven't we?
Yeah, we've been close. You know that's for certain. But you know, right now on the racetrack, if you're a driver like Hotsema, Alex Princeton, the new man showing some speed in town, that 07 machine. These are intense moments out there on the racetrack because you have time to think about so many different variables or so many different ways you can lose this race, right? Because you can lose them a million different ways, and there's sometimes only the right move to get the win here. And this time of the race kills me as a driver because I start thinking and stressing about all these different things I shouldn't even worry about. If you lose that iRacing.com pace car, we come back in to the Geico restart zone. Bart is going to whip the overtime green flag in the air, and Daniel's going to grab a gear and try to catch the rest of these guys on the snoozer. But that Mustang on the high lane comes to life, and look who he's got pushing him, DJ, on the bottom.
Yeah, you got to be careful if you're these front 2 right here. You can't get too far out. Here comes the 97 and the 19, it looks like.
That's Hotsema and Alex Princeton.
Oh, we're already going 3 wide.
It's okay to 3-way at Daytona. We're 3-way, 3 rows deep, unloaded mayhem. The 33 almost goes up and touches the wall. Bridson is going to get the shovel out and kick the 97 coming off the corner. He's going to give it everything he's got as he is welded in that high lane. The 97 going to lead.
Oh, we got a wreck. The 33 goes around. The 97 goes around. So does the 19.
Multiple cars going airborne, but we made it back to the start-finish line, which means
we're racing back here.
we're racing checkers or wreckers. It's going to be Daniel in the 07 Lou Allen being piloted or working with there by Eric Winland.
The 75 of Eaton's going to have a massive run here. Here they go. They're going to the outside. He's got help.
Charles going to be trying to eat and good in the neighborhood.
We're 3 wide for the lead.
Like the Blue Angels coming out of the turns 3 and 4 complex. Charles Eaton has a full.
Who's going to win it? We're 3 wide.
3 wide. It's going to be the bottom line surging ahead. Daniel Llewellyn is going to win this race. Charles Eaton is going to come oh so close. Eric Wyman's going to come home third. Dave Holtzema fourth, and Tim Phillips fifth. DJ, P1 and P2 up 38 positions apiece. Have you ever?
I've never. That was an awesome drive by the 07. That was awesome. I don't think I could have done that better myself.
What a piece of driving. Especially in overtime. I mean, he did everything perfect. And he got some, I don't want to say the other D word, but he got some darn good help there as well. I mean, a 3-way battle for the lead. And it coming down to a game of inches at the stripe. Thank God for electronic timing and scoring. As we now transition to post-race coverage here is Daniel Llewellyn. Is going to stay hidden in the weeds out of the limelight until the nighttime.
Oh yeah, there it goes. Through the logo. He just gained a fan.
That's right, like Dale Earnhardt Sr. did after 20 years of trying to win this race in 1998.
Burn it down, buddy. You deserve it.
But as I was saying, he hung out of the limelight, hit in the dredges, and then when it was time, he turned it on in prime time, and he wins the season opener here in the Xfinity Series. We're going to give these drivers a moment to speak with their fans, friends, and teams, and they're going to join us here topside in the broadcast booth here in 30 seconds. Don't go anywhere. You're on Redline Racing Network.
Note for record
Here at TWRS, we're always here to help our squad when they need a little push in the right direction.
That's pretty crazy.
That's just who we are. We're a beautifully diverse group of goofballs dedicated to driving fake race cars as fast as possible. And we continue to push each other to the front using the power of nonsense. We have one of the strongest NASCAR programs on the service, and you can access it all for $24.99 a month. And we just released individual subscriptions for $14.99 a month for each NASCAR vehicle. We also just added a Rallycross program and our IndyCar program.
Back now trackside here on Redline Racing Network as we officially transition into post-race coverage here from the big house at Daytona. As this race had all the action, all the drama, the high impact hits, you name it, it had it all, as we expected it to be. As I'm hanging on and gasping for breath and blood pressure up here at the Tony Trapasso Memorial broadcast booth is Daniel Llewellyn. Shocks the field and really comes to life late in this race. Executes brilliantly in overtime to get the big win and the victory here on Redline Racing Network. So we get ready to speak with our top 3 finishers. DJ, unfortunately, not able to join me for this segment as he is not in the Discord, not by design, as this was a last-minute idea we had to try to kind of work together with this race. So I want to thank him for joining me and helping me up here tonight. Couldn't have done it without him. Without further ado, let's talk to some of these drivers here this evening. So we're now looking for our top three to join us here. Perhaps they're going down to the infield care center. Let's see if we can find them here. And we're going to be looking for Daniel Llewellyn, Charles Eaton, and Eric Wineland. See if we can find these guys. There we go. Joining me now up in the Tony Trapassa Memorial broadcast booth, Eric Wineland. You got a copy, boss? Well, hey, brother, first and foremost, what an adrenaline, heart-pumping finish that was here at Daytona under the lights. Walk me through your race this evening. Did you think you were going to get there at the end of this when it was coming down to it in the end? This was an incredible race. How was it from your perspective in the 87 this evening? The floor is yours.
It started awful. The shifter's broken right now, so I was working on paddles instead of an H pattern. The paint didn't load, obviously, so I'm in the wrong car right now, and we barely got the setup loaded in time, but we did miss the grid. So it all went wrong at the start of the race, and it just got better from there. A huge shout out, thank you to Dustin Hall, Adam Benefill, and Bryson Hicksonbaugh, Cody Bird, and Kyle Amon for letting me work with them on the pit cycle. We ended up in the correct position. We were in that final lead pack after the green flag stop in stage 3, after working our way forward from starting a lap down, basically. And everything was going well till one bad push up top, it sounds like, and got us all out of whack. Restarted like 13th, was catching up off turn 4 behind another driver. I think it was one of the Williams guys, and went right up the middle to third in line on the top and managed to make it work. That final restart, though, Llewellyn just played that perfectly. I knew he had a teammate on the outside. I tried to shove him out far enough that maybe I could clear up to the top and get going, but I couldn't get that clear up top, and then everything happened behind us, and it was just me and him, and I didn't know how to exactly play it. I haven't really been in that position before, so I tried to move Charles up the racetrack into turn 3, hoping we could get 3 wide and maybe all just side draft each other, but the two guys behind us 3, they both chose the top of the bottom, and I was left in the middle with no help and went backwards. So I'll take P3 on debut here in the Friday Night Lights Xfinity Series. Huge shout out to the Full Length Cup Challenge guys for putting on a B car series. It's a lot of fun so far, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the season.
You know, it may sound like a B car series, but it didn't look anything like that from the performance that you guys put out on the racetrack there this evening. And, you know, to your point, I mean, this race must have had a crazy psychological evolution for you. I mean, typically the first race of the season, so much time preparation, the stress already peaked, and you guys couldn't hit one thing right. It seemed to kick this race off, barely making it out there onto the grid in time. And yet here you are on the podium in a truly just magical place like Daytona, and good things happens to those who put in the time, dedication, and the work on the racetrack, and that couldn't be more the case for you guys here this evening. What a drive, what a performance from you. What does this do for the momentum to kickstart the season for you and your team?
Oh, this is huge. To your point earlier, I've worked 2 jobs, and I got out of the second job literally as the driver's meeting was starting, and just barely made it in the session all set up. But I'll absolutely take it. I'm looking forward to the rest of the season. I'm not a huge setup builder, but I'm a tinkerer, so I'll see and find a way to try to find myself moving forward. I was thankfully able to find something here at Daytona. Nothing perfect. I was pretty free on quarter entries, so much so that I was actually lifting quite a bit on entries. And then we saw a huge save on my part when I stayed out I kept the old tires on the car after the green flag stop. But no, a 3rd place finish is great, Matt. We can build on this. Look forward to the rest of the season. We got 32 more races now to build something and see if we can make the playoffs and move forward from there. But looking forward to Atlanta next week.
Well, just off of Interstate 99 in central Pennsylvania, the Altoona man had the plan and the faith to get it done here with a little help from his team and perhaps the good Lord above. The 87, Eric Wineland, has the momentum and the mojo running into the next week. Best of luck to you, and thanks for your time. Always a pleasure to speak to you up here in the broadcast booth. Enjoy the rest of your evening, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Matt. Thank you, Redline Racing Network, for getting a broadcast on for these guys, and thank you to the Full Length Challenge guys and Bobby that was race control tonight. It was a lot of fun. Looking forward to next week. Thank
you, sir. We appreciate you and you guys racing your guts out there on the racetrack. I'll go ahead and put you back down in the infield care center, Eric. Going to move him back down there. And he mentioned Bobby Anderson. We're going to go ahead and just grab him by the back of the collar here really quick. Bobby Anderson, Matt up in the Tony Trapassa Memorial broadcast booth. You got a copy?
I got you, Matt. What's up?
Hey, sorry to kind of grab you by the collar and pull you into the broadcast booth, but my goodness, what a race to kick the season off here. All phases, everything you would want, the drama, the high-octane racing action, the suspense, I mean, all of it, the overtime finish. You're obviously the HMFIC head cook, chief, and bottle washer of this league. How did you feel these drivers executed tonight, and or are you probably just as happy, as satisfied as all of us with the outcome of this race? I don't think you could ask for anything better.
Yeah, I'm glad it was entertaining for everybody. Always good to have a green-white checker there at the end. You know, it's a new venture for us. We've had this Cup Series that we'll be running tomorrow, going on for over 5 years, and Xfinity is new to us, so there's a lot of new faces. And you come to a racetrack like Daytona, a lot of new faces around each other. It can turn into a wreck fest very quickly. So it wasn't perfect tonight, but I was happy to see that we went a pretty decent stretch there at the start under green, and you know we'll clean a few things up and make the experience a little bit better, and it'll just get more exciting and better racing from here. Only one way is up.
That's right. Very well said, Bobby. I just wanted to pull you in the booth really quick, obviously for the viewers to put a voice with the name and to thank you for all the hard work that you've put in to making this league a reality. And, man, this was a Class A effort out there by all these guys. What a drive, what a performance. I mean, they had us locked here up in the broadcast booth in the drop of the green flag, and that was a thriller, and I think one that we'll all remember. And tomorrow night, same time, all these fans here on Redline Racing Network, they can go over to McConey's network. Their side of operations are going to handle the Cup Series race, and that's going to kick off at the same time, correct, tomorrow night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, right?
Yes, sir. Head on over, like you said, to McConey. Thanks again, Matt. We love you. We think highly of you. Glad you could stick around with us for Fridays, and we look forward to the rest of the season with you guys.
Appreciate your time, Bobby. Thankful to be here, and we look forward to covering all the action, all things Xfinity here throughout the course of the season. I'll go ahead and put you back in your motor coach lot. Sorry to yank you out of the meeting.
Cheers, guys. Have a great night.
Always want to thank Bobby again for everything that he does to make sure this league executes and does it at a very high level. DJ Daniel, once again, for joining me up in the broadcast booth. We'll try to see if we can incorporate some other names throughout the course of the season as well, schedule permitting. That's the key word there. Well, since no one else wants to talk to us here, I'm going to take a peek, see if anyone else who's eligible for an interview is they're all in the meeting. Let me see if I can snag the winner here really quick. Daniel Lou Allen. And again, I'm going to apologize if he is busy or preoccupied, does not want the interview. Joining me now up in the Tony Trapassa Memorial broadcast booth, the driver of the 07 machine, Daniel Lou Allen. You got a copy.
Yeah, hey, how you doing?
Man, how are you doing is the question.
Well, I joined at the last minute. I was going to do the NIS, and then I decided to run with my buddies here, Dave and Lucas, and rode them back, and it just all played out. It's like playing a chess match.
Man, you said it so right. It is like playing a chess match, but it was a lot more high-octane, high-action-packed than that out there on the racetrack. It seemed like you were the Pied Piper this race. And I don't know maybe if that was strategy, maybe the performance wasn't quite where you wanted on the race car. But, you know, you reminded me of the old school Mark Martin, Kevin Harvick. Mr. Where did he come from? And when you had to be an absolute laser, a high-polished speed rocket out there on the racetrack, your car rose to the occasion. And once you got to the point, I mean, you had the speed, you had the performance, the ability to keep that machine there. Walk me through your path to the front of this field, and then what was it like going back to green and just continuing to lead and maintain the lead through those overtime moments and ultimately coming out of here with the victory?
Well, I couldn't have done this without the setup. L8 setups. I mean, he threw this thing together. I mean, I felt like 5 minutes, and it was a rocket ship. It was pretty stable, able to work through the field. It was good behind the cars, and you just kind of had to filter through the whole pack. And I was just biding my time there until the end. And then we just got lucky. Me and Lucas, we got that caution after that pit stop, and we really needed that. That's what helped us out. That's what got that win. And he really helped me out and pushed. So it was a solid setup, man. I mean, for as fast as he threw it together, I can't believe it was that quick and that stable.
Yeah, these setups often take a lot of time, sometimes weeks, if not months, to master. So to be able to do it in that quick, that amount of time is shocking, but also tells me you got some of the elites in your stable working for you and putting forth the good fight on your side of things. Coming to that checkered flag there, did you know as a driver, did you feel like you had it, or were you worried they were going to try to gang up on you and generate a run? And if so, which lane were you going to try to block?
Well, when we started there, I was hoping me and Lucas could join up, and he's like, hey, you can jump in front of me if you want to. And I was kind of hesitating, and I just waited too long, so I was just kind of stuck at the bottom, and I just held my line. And then it just all played out perfectly.
Yeah, sometimes here at Daytona, it takes obviously a well-versed race car driver with the experience, with the poise, and that not crack under pressure mindset, but you also have to have a little bit of that luck on your side. And it seemed like you just had everything going in your direction there at the end. And what a drive from you. You ultimately get the win here this evening. It's up 38 positions. I mean, that's like starting in the next county over. And yet, here you are. What do you do with the momentum rolling into next week? And what does this do for your team moving forward?
Well, hopefully Mr. Crafty Hoytsma can come up with a nice rocket ship setup for the next, races, and we'll see how it goes. And he also paints the car, LH Designs. I retired the other one I want in. He won't let me retire this one, so I'm stuck with this paint job for a while. So, I got to be nice to him. If I'm not, I don't get another paint job,
Hey, I know how that goes. Well, tell Dave that I said he does a terrific job not only tweaking the setup, but also painting these cars. You guys had great-looking rides out there this evening. Daniel, before I cut you loose, who do you want to thank? Who helps you get it done on the 07?
Well, Lucas Hoytsma is the one that did the paint job and the setup. I want to thank Low Drag, CTC RRN Broadcasting, 712 Brakes, 712 Brakes, and thank you, Quinn. I love you, Quinn. I'll be talking to you later.
Well, there he is, ladies and gentlemen. Comes big time in the clutch, and that car goes supersonic to the front of the field. Holds off Fast and Furious Racing, coming to the line, has enough to get the big win at the big house. That is the driver of the 07, Daniel Llewellyn. Thank you for joining me up here in the booth. Have a great rest of your evening, and I hope to speak to you again really soon, my friend.
Yeah, thanks. Have a good one, man.
You too. I'll go ahead and put you back down in the infield care center. There is the interview with your leader. You will now see if Charles Eaton, who came home in P2, is available. There he is. Joining me now, your second place finisher here from our opening act at Daytona to kick off the 2025 campaign. Charles Eaton, you got a copy.
I got you.
Well, hey, man, first and foremost, that car was eating good in the neighborhood out there tonight, and it had some serious boogie under the hoodie. Who helped you put together that hot rod? And walk me through your race from your perspective this evening. How were you able to pilot yourself through all the chaos to a solid P2 finish?
Well, first I'd like to thank Connie, Sim Sports, for doing the setups on these cars. That's where I get my stuff from. And I just held it wide open in the end there. But to start the night off, I just wanted to hang in the back. There's a lot of cars that started, 42-ish or so. And I knew that there was going to be some carnage. I just tried to stay out of as much of it as I could. Unfortunately, I got caught up in the first wreck, and that did a bunch of damage on the car. So just tried to get as much as repaired as I could, and keep going from there.
Well, Charles, you were reading my mind. I was going to ask you about that first yellow flag incident that obviously, unfortunately, you got caught up in, but you were able really to just stay committed to the cause there and grind out the repairs during those other caution incidences that we had, the stages as well. And it really seemed like once you got those repairs complete to your race car, it was truly back to form. You seemed to have all the speed back in it. Was that the case, or was it off just a little bit, but you were able to overcome it on the racetrack?
Oh, it was still off a little bit. I think I still had close to a minute of repairs left.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah. So I didn't know how good I could push the 87 there before that last caution come out. So I was surprised that I could push him as good as I could to stay up there, in the top 5. And then it was on, and the last couple of laps I just held it wide open and saw a hole on the top and went for it and ended up second.
Sometimes you just see the parting of the Red Seas in those key moments like that. They make all the difference. But you got to have a heck of a wheel man behind the wheel, piloting that thing. Certainly a heck of a job from you this evening. Before I cut you loose, Charles, who do you want to thank? I'll give you the floor. Who helps you get it done on that 75 ride?
I would like to first thank my wife for putting up with me doing this, and really just Conti. I haven't had a bunch of time, and Vector Motorsports, they're my new team that I signed with this year over here, and that's pretty much it for now.
And one more question before I cut you loose, Daniel. I don't know if you are, but if you are, I'll make sure the viewers follow you tomorrow night as well. Are you going to be participating on the Cup Series side of things tomorrow evening?
I will not. I am only part-time on the Cup Series, but I'm full-time in Xfinity.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Full-time here in the Xfinity side of things. And when Daniel decides to go out and compete back-to-back nights, going 100% over the weekend in prime time, we'll let you know here on Redline Racing Network when you can catch him over on the McConey side of things. Daniel, have a great evening. Thanks for joining us here on the broadcast booth, and have a great rest of your night, sir. Put you back down in the infield care center. And that will wrap up post-race interview coverage here from Daytona. And I'll tell you what, folks, 4 or 5 races here at Daytona this weekend thus far, and every single one of them had an outcome that I don't think anyone really projected or predicted. All of them moments before late race chaos, and by God, did the nuclear bomb go off here late. Still haven't fully digested that one. But it did not end how I thought it would. Just a few cars battling for the lead here. Instead, we go hardcore Call of Duty mode here and wipe out most of the leaders in an epic, thrilling crash. Overtime, go all the way. And what a grudge match battle to the finish line. These Xfinity Series boys, upcoming stars and veterans, really gave us a wide open, all-out slugfest on the racetrack. Sometimes it's sad to see these things come to an end, but that is the case for right now. Go ahead and hide the graphics here. I want to thank all of you for joining us here on Redline Racing Network. To Bobby, all the league admins, sponsors, critical partners behind the background, thank you for all your support behind the scenes. Without it, this league certainly wouldn't be possible. And remember, tune in tomorrow night, same time, different channel, McConey Racing Network, to watch the Cup Series do it all over again as they throw a 100%er to go the distance here tonight at Daytona. That's tomorrow night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern on McConey. And as the late, great Tony Trapasso used to say, as you walk down the road of life this week, do us all a favor. Don't play in traffic, and we'll see you next time right here on Redline Racing Network.